What would you do if you went to work and your coworker wouldn't take no for an answer? If you went to work and your coworker says, "Oh, I like you," and when you said, "Hey, I'm not interested," they just proceeded to try to touch you. Well, that's what happened to a fellow nurse. And I'm sure it's not the first time it's happened. It's not the only time it's happened. But what's so serious about this is that when she reported it, her supervisor told her that there was nothing she could do about it, that it's her word against his word. And so drop me a comment. Let me know if this has ever happened to you, what you did, because we need to share. Because I think as nurses, we need to know, or anyone actually needs to understand exactly what you need to do to protect yourself. So, she said she told him she wasn't interested, and he backed her into a corner and tried to touch her. I pushed him away from me, and I told my supervisor, and she basically said they can't do anything about it because it's my word against his. This guy has been there longer than me, and I just started here as a new grad. I'm not sure what to do. I really want to quit now because being around him makes me really uncomfortable. Obviously that's uncomfortable. That is so uncomfortable to be in a space where, you know, you're feeling like you're in a subordinate position, and then someone has more tenure than you. You just got your job, and then now you feel like what? Like you have to give it up because you don't want to lose your job. Listen, let's talk about what you can do. Right? So first of all, your supervisor is not the one to go to. Let's just X that out. Something like this happens, you don't go to your supervisor, you go directly to HR and you start a paper trail. Just like in nursing, we learned that if you didn't document it, it didn't happen. If you don't document this, how are you going to prove it happened? Start a paper trail, an email trail. Tell them you feel uncomfortable. Tell them what happened. Use names, dates, anybody who witnessed it. And then the other thing is that so many times as women in general, right, when we're uncomfortable, we tend to back down. Right. And so I think also the next thing to do is that if someone pushes you into a corner, you need to yell, scream, bloody murder. Like, no, like you need to scream, because if you don't scream, then you need to draw attention to this person, because every time they do this, it's, you know, when they do this, they need to understand that you're going to be drawing attention. You're not going to hide it from them. You're not going to let them back you into a corner because you're trying to save your job. No, because this is also dangerous, because how does this escalate? I mean, she just started this job and this other person is now backing her into a corner in the hallway somewhere. And we've been in hallways as nurses, right? I used to work in a hospital and I had a patient, right, who insisted. This patient literally insisted that I walk him out. And normally patients, you push him out in a wheelchair. He insisted that I walk him out. And then somehow the hospital I worked out, the hospital was really busy. And, you know, I was like, okay, we walked him out and I got into a hallway with him. And when we got down the hallway, like he literally cornered me into a staircase. So, you know, like we have to, and it feels, you're uncomfortable. You don't want to lose your job. You don't want to complain. You don't want to make waves, but how dangerous is it? And how can this, you know, I'm talking about a patient who was on his way home. So what happens when this is someone that you're working with and they're just getting comfortable with backing you into a corner more and more until what? Until something happens? No. You know, because this person sounds like they will get bolder and they can get bolder and bolder. And then they're going to say, well, you never complained. They thought you liked it, because that's what they always say, right? Like as a woman. And I'm not saying this is just women. This can happen to a man also. If this is happening to you as a man, you should also go to HR. Go to HR. Document. Do not keep quiet. Yell. Don't touch me. Call for help. do that thing. You know, you are at work. You are at work, and you know, yes, it can happen that you go to work, you work with someone, they might be attracted to you, but someone being attracted is like, so you're out in the street and someone's attracted to you and they ask you for your phone number and you go, you know what? No, but thank you. Right? So now that person has a right to corner you? No, they don't. No. So it's no different than at work. The only difference is that, the only difference is that you are at work, you have an HR department, they have a harassment policy, and you need to file a police report. You need not to and I know, like, we get into these jobs, we're like, we just want to keep our jobs. New nurse. I can remember being a new nurse. I was so happy to have that first job. And imagine getting on that first job and then now you're dealing with harassment. And I know, like, many nurses deal with this. And the nursing profession is a lot more female dominated as far as nurses go, than male. But this can also happen to men. You know, and, create a record for yourself. Leave a paper trail. And it sounds like it's probably not the first time he's done this, and no one has ever said anything before. So it sounds like maybe he's not messing with the older nurses. It's the new nurses that he's, you know, young, fresh meat, so to speak. It's sad. It's sad. Yep. Just like nursing school, document. Send an email to HR. You want to have it. You want to have something in their file somewhere that says that this happened. And, you know, because here's the thing. And the other thing is that you need to use proper terms, not he cornered you into a hallway. That person assaulted you. They put their hands on you when they were not supposed to. You didn't ask them to. You didn't give permission to. That is assault. So you call it an assault. I'm being assaulted. I don't know. What's the matter with people? You go to work. Go to HR. Supervisors won't do anything. HR will at least call an investigation. Their job is to avoid lawsuits. Just be sure not to sign anything. Yeah, I would talk to an attorney also, just to get an idea. It's just a shame that it has to get to this, but when you're talking to people and you're complaining of sexual harassment, you have to document. You have to document everything. Who was there, when it happened, how many times it happened, what time it happened, where you were when it happened. Yeah. Yeah. Someone said, I had this happen when she went into someone's office and she had this happen to her in the office and said loudly, door open, if you don't quit texting me and approaching me inappropriately, you will lose your job. Is that clear? Yep, it was a threat, but it worked. People were gathering around, staring. It mortified him. I saw him with his wife at an event years later, and he still ran the other way. Yeah, sometimes you just have to be clear. I think sometimes people they're looking, that's why they're searching out the new nurse, right? They're looking for somebody, like I said, fresh meat. They're looking for somebody who is going to be intimidated, who is, fresh in the field, they know just wants to keep their job, and then they're just gonna go for it. Why someone would have to force themselves on someone who doesn't like them? I don't know. But, if they've gotten into the habit of doing this, and not being reprimanded, maybe you'll be the first. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this. If this has ever happened to you, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next one. Do not let people get away with this. HR, police report, scream bloody murder. Draw attention to yourself always. I don't care who's there. I don't care if the patient's there. I don't care who is there. And that's the thing. They're looking for you to be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. It's not your fault. It's their fault. Their bad behavior. All right. Love you. I'll see you in the next one.